Chapter 4. The Spies Who Did Not Love Us. Petres Giasis, aboard Agios Nikolaos, SS Liberty. Tuesday, the 19th of August. It's morning. Everybody wakes up. The weather is still fine, and we travel smoothly to Cyprus. A little later, one of the side protective balloons falls into the sea. Captain Giagas doesn't share our disappointment. He idles the engine, dives into the sea, and recovers the balloon. Everybody claps. Late at night, we approach the city lights of Paphos. The Cypriot Coast Guard calls us through the ship's radio that we must shut off all the boat's lights so they can escort us in undercover. It's obvious that they are worried about our safety. Each boat could become the target of Zionist commandos. They tell us that the two boats should keep close to each other. Captain Zacharias steers a bit away. It's time for him to have a cup of tea, so he doesn't want to be near the coast. Wednesday, the 20th of August. We reach Larnaca at 8 in the morning. We are asked to head to the guarded harbor, not the small marina. We are received as VIPs by the harbor authorities. They assure us they will be at our disposal at any time. An armed sentry is positioned by our boats. Two Cypriot Coast Guard divers search thoroughly under the boats, and there's an underwater camera installed, which is connected with a van on the pier. Captain Giagas has now committed himself to joining us all the way to Gaza as a member of the mission. Dr. Bill reporting from Nicosia and Larnaca, Cyprus. August 20th to 22nd. This impossible dream now seems like it could actually come to fruition. The SS Free Gaza and SS Liberty are in Larnaca port now under Cypriot Coast Guard protection. It looks like we could get out to sea toward Gaza, but we are still not sure we can actually get in. The Israeli government has made several proclamations to the effect that they will intercept our boats and not let us pass into Gaza. For the past few weeks, both the Greek and Cypriot governments have been under intense pressure at the highest levels from Israeli government officials and their diplomats, who are trying to stop us. Greece and Cyprus have stood firm with the majority of their citizens who support Palestinian civil rights. They haven't broken any laws, they say to Israeli officials. We have to be certain that this remains the case. We must move our supplies inland from the University of Cyprus to the port of Larnaca in stages, because we have limited car space. Our baggage is first piled up high behind locked doors within our dorms, so we can keep an eye on it. When cars are ready, the luggage is brought to the curb. We each take turns providing continuous watch of our bags near the curb. The last thing we need right now is to have some Mossad agent posing as a college student walking past our bags and slipping drugs, weapons or other contraband inside our suitcases. This could then be discovered by Cypriot Coast Guard authorities who are charged with assuring safety and clearing of customs, and really mess up our operation. We cram the entire luggage as tight as we can into the first group of cars, and the first group of passengers departs for the port. We in the second group are detailed to do cleanup. Before leaving Nicosia, we head downtown to the pharmacy to pick up the final list of trauma and other medical supplies. I still can't get everything I wanted. Due to complicated international regulations about controlled substances crossing international boundaries, I have been unable to secure supplies of narcotic pain relievers to use in the event we experience serious injuries. We will just have to tough it out if things get bad and hope for the best. I have a license to prescribe controlled substances in the state of Washington, where I practice, but that does not help me here in Greece or Cyprus. Furthermore, taking prescription narcotics out into international waters and into Gaza presents more legal dilemmas that we have been unable to figure out. I'm only a doctor, I have very limited knowledge about international regulations concerning controlled substances and how to correctly address them. There must be a way, as I'm sure cruise liners who travel in international waters have the lock and key in their sick bays. I can only hope nothing really bad happens to us on the Free Gaza movement boats. It could get really horrible if we have to care for folks who have become close friends with serious trauma, and we have minimal means to alleviate severe pain. We cruise in Eliza's rental car along Cypriot's superhighways. Eliza has already figured out how not to get lost on previous trips between Nicosia and Larnaca. So this voyage is very quick, and I'm content to sit back and listen to the compilation of theme songs we have created for the voyage playing on the rental car's CD player. We are all dropped off at a hotel that Eliza arranged within walking distance to the boats. We are late to a mandatory meeting of all FG passengers. We enter an overcrowded hotel room to reunite with our colleagues who have been on the boats from Greece. They are tired, some have recently enjoyed their first showers in over a week. They need a couple more days on shore before we are ready to set sail for Gaza. Osama and Christos, my previous roommates back in Athens, want a room with me, which is fine. Osama makes it clear he doesn't want it known where he is staying, since he is still receiving death threats. I sleep in the bed by the window. The thought that I'm between Osama and any prospective attackers keeps me awake for a while. When we leave the hotel, a hippie dude and his girlfriend try to follow us everywhere we go. Fortunately, these hippies have not yet figured out a way to get into the guarded port. As far as the hotel goes, all they or their associates have to do is just walk in. I'm told that this hippie duo was in Crete with our boats and have followed us here. He is barefoot, has blonde dreadlocks, and speaks English with an Eastern European accent. She is a brunette who dresses more like a conventional summer tourist. I haven't heard her speak. They push around a shopping cart full of their belongings. They look like they would fit in well among the homeless who inhabit warm water ports around the world. I can't see it, but I'll bet that hidden in their junk within the depths of their shopping cart is a sophisticated spy camera. Maybe we are being bugged as well. In their presence, we all revert back to speaking in code words. We try and titrate the dialogue between ourselves to the appropriate level of caution for this occasion, between being careful, but not overly paranoid. One morning, several of us are outside the port gate at a coffee shop. We are all waiting with our passports for clearance by Cypriot port authorities to get our credentials, so we can enter and leave the guarded portion of the port. The hippie couple is right in there amongst us. The surreal begins to become normal. We will not allow them to intimidate us. We will instead try to intimidate them. We take turns taking pictures of this couple. I start serenading them with the old Lowy Prima song. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. Paul Lerudi walks right up to the man, says good morning, and shakes hands with him. The whole scene becomes quite comical. We caution each other to be careful what we say. It could be that the hippies are the diversion, and the more normal looking group of Greek Cypriot men sitting right behind us might be the real spies. With our credentials we can now pass through the checkpoint that gets us inside the secure area of Larnaca port. Huge cargo ships are being loaded and unloaded on the dock toward the shore from our boats. The SS Liberty and SS Free Gaza are docked adjacent to each other in their entire splendor with flags from various nations flying aloft. There are armed Cypriot Coast Guard security men milling about. All night long, we keep a minimum of 2 of our own passengers aboard each ship standing guard in 2-hour shifts to watch for any unusual events. The bottoms of each our boats are again checked periodically by scuba divers to assure our safety. Bella, decompressing in Larnaca. Date, Thursday, the 21st of August 2008. Subject, setting sail in the morning. I can't say much more, because the internet man is about to throw us out. I'm so tired, and just rang my good friend to cry at him for a while about various internal group difficulties I might once have had the capacity to fix, but don't anymore. Coupled with this decreased ability to solve conflicts is an increased capacity to empathize beyond any reasonable amount with what everyone in the conflict is feeling, and to feel very compassionate for individuals, while simultaneously feeling alienated with people generally. Arg. Our boats are covered with flags, and they look beautiful. Not being a flag type person, I never thought to bring the Aboriginal flag I was given last time I was in Australia, which I feel sad about. On the other hand, the port authorities don't seem to like any flags they don't recognize. We had a press link with Gaza today. Israeli prison would be a pleasant rest after all this work and stress, but we have friends waiting for us. Petrus. Thursday, the 21st of August. At 13:30, there's a press conference and a ceremony for 14 murdered Palestinian fishermen. Greek MP Tassis Kourakis is in Cyprus with a parliamentary delegation. Takis contacts him. He visits the boats, asks to join us, and he is joyously received, thus reinforcing the mission. Meanwhile, 2 Mossad agents are pretending to be hippies. They have been stalking us from Athens, and at every Cretan port, where we have stopped. Now they appear in Larnaca. They can't get in the port, since security measures are tough, but they move around the hotel, where members of our mission are staying, and at an internet cafe, where our passengers have been hanging out. Takis Politis is pissed, and launches verbal abuse at them. They are experienced agents, and they remain calm, as expected. Dr. Bill. On the final afternoon and evening before departure, we hold press conferences on the dock next to the boats. We hold memorials with international cameras rolling for 14 Gaza fishermen, who were killed, since 2005 by the Israeli Navy. We also hold a memorial for 34 American sailors of the US Liberty who were killed by the Israeli Air Force just off the Gazan coast during the Six-Day War in 1967, and ignored by the world. We do our best to command the world's attention, hoping that this will raise world awareness, and also protect us. Both boats are equipped with camera crews, satellite phones, and news agencies like the Palestinian Ramatan, which are capable of real-time streaming television coverage on the internet. Our story is now being broadcast to networks around the world. Late at night, some of us are having dinner on the patio of a restaurant across from our hotel. All of a sudden, there is a scuffle right in front of us out in the street. Apparently one man had been robbed by others. We remind each other to stand back. This is not the right time to be a good Samaritan. Maybe this whole scuffle is being staged to suck us in. We all stay within the confines of the restaurant and off the street. Eventually the Larnaca police show up, and all the fighting settles down without our involvement. I spend the final half hour before midnight with many of my shipmates inside the internet cafe alongside the hotel right before closing time. I'm emailing my friends and family to say goodbye. There is Hugh Wader, Eliza, Jeff, and many others there doing the same thing. The hippie dude and his girlfriend are there with us inside the internet cafe too. I lie down on my bed by the window inside my hotel room. I'm regressing toward the simple mindedness and internal comfort of my childhood. The old Doris Day tune, that I haven't thought of in years, since back when I was 5 years old, keeps playing over and over again in my head as I try to fall off to sleep. Sarah, Sarah, whatever will be, the future's not ours to seek. Sarah, Sarah. Chapter 5. Terror and Seasickness. Before sailing, we were